Welcome, one and all, to the 2021 Sellies, because today we're going to be talking about the top 7 stores for retail arbitrage, not only in my opinion, but also in my data, because I went through my inventory lab, which is the inventory system that I use to send an inventory to Amazon and look at my profit statistics, and I have 7 superlatives that we're going to talk about that make these stores that we're going to talk about the best ones that you can go to for retail arbitrage, in my humble opinion. So before we get started, let me explain a couple of the criteria that I will have. Mainly, we're going to be looking at profit, revenue, and return on investment, though there will be some outliers that we'll definitely talk to as we get to the different awards. If you don't use Inventory Lab, let me familiarize you real quick. If you go into reports, supplier profitability, it'll pull up this page, and I just pulled this up from all time. And since I started this in September of 2020, we'll just count all time. I don't know if this will be an annual award show, but I will definitely walk through the ones that I think are the most profitable. And I judge that by the total number of units sold. Units refunded is subtracted from units sold in the stats that I will give you. And then also revenue, profit, and return on investment. One last thing before we get started and reveal our first winner of a Selly Award is that I recently changed how I categorize where my suppliers are from in Inventory Lab, and I have everything that I buy out at stores just to say retail now instead of the specific store. All that means is these numbers are going to be lower than what they actually are for me, but not by too much because this only started about a month and a half ago. We have the winner of the first award, and that award is for the most reliable and steady source of income. Let's see who has won this prestigious honor, and it looks like it is Walmart. I don't think there's any surprise from the Academy that Walmart has come out with this first award, seeing as though there's such a plethora of different categories of items. This is the store that I got started with, mostly on Amazon. It has been very reliable, especially having moved into the van. Very graciously, the Academy has also included with the winner a stat sheet based on the Inventory Lab information, and we can see here that Walmart has sold over 2,900 units since I started selling on Amazon, with revenues over $32,000, a profit of over $8,000, and a return on investment on all that inventory of 81%, meaning if I bought something for $10, on average I got back $8.12 of profit, that is. Besides just having great numbers, Walmart also won this award because, having moved into a van, like I said, I'm oftentimes sleeping at Walmart's, and therefore I'm able to resell them pretty consistently, and I'm able to find most of my replenishable products from Walmart. It's also a place that you can go to learn to source, especially if you're new. You can scan a bunch of different categories to see what you're engaged in, and their clearance inventory is constantly turning over, so you'll be able to find stuff that's very cheap to sell for very high return on investments, which is why the ROI overall was over 80%. Without further ado, let's get into the second award of the night, the Best Comeback of the Year award. Thank you very much, and it looks like the winner of this Selly Award is Ollie's Bargain Outlet. I apologize for the crassness of the Academy. Logo was a little too difficult to replicate, so I guess they went with something a little bit less savory. However, Ollie's has come from behind to win back the hearts of the Academy, aka me. If we take a look at the stat sheet that they have provided, we can see why this might be the case, and it is simply because the revenue, though not crazy, was over $5,000 on over 500 units. The profit on that was $1,381.18 with a return on investment of over 90%, which is one of the reasons why this makes the list, although I was not a big fan of it until this one little thing happened, which is why it is the comeback of the year and not one of my overall favorites. That one change for me was getting ungated in topicals and grocery and starting to sell those items, and you can get ungated with them by using Frontier Co-op as a distributor and getting an invoice of 10 units. Personally, I hadn't done that. I haven't done that for anything yet, so I just waited to get auto ungated, and once I did, I found a lot of different topicals, like hair care products, a lot of different supplements, and some food items. But for me, going into an Ollie's, spending an hour and a half, and making $400 of profit was a very nice thing that's happened in a previous video, which is why they win the award of Best Comeback of the Year. The third award of the night is one of my favorites, and that goes to the best store for fun and money, because we don't want to just be bored while we're sourcing, and some stores are definitely more enjoyable to source than others. So let's see what was chosen, thank you very much, for this year's winner. Looks like we have Ross Dress for Less. Apparently someone from the Academy has been watching a lot of Game of Thrones and The Witcher and decided to use an old-timey phrase. However, let's take a look at the stat sheet to see why Ross has won the Best for Fun and Money award this year. It looks like so far at Ross, I've sold over 700 units, so 200 more than Ollie's. My revenue is $16,000 with a profit of over $2,000, even though my return on investment was only 39.19%, which is honestly not very good. However, I love Ross's, not only just for Amazon, but also when I did eBay. That's where I found most of my stuff, and that would add a lot to the profits here. and more specifically, I love soccer, and they oftentimes have really nice soccer stuff for a super steep discount, which is why I own over $1,000 of soccer shoes, but I think I've paid less than $150 for all of them because I got them all from Ross's. That being said, Ross is one of the best places to buy consumer electronics. That's one of the main things that I source at Ross. And I actually do have over here the Skull Candy and these Alltech Lansing things that I did buy at Ross. This was a return. These ones I got an IP claim on, so I don't sell Alltech Lansing anymore. But I have found lots and lots of profit from Ross, and that's one of the stores that I was excited to get back to after being in the Northeast for a while where I didn't really see any of them. But honestly, I don't quite think there's a lot of surprise for number 3, best for fun and money, going to Ross Dress for Less. Well, this is an interesting turn. The next store has actually won 2 awards. The first being the best return on investment percentage, and the second being best newcomer. So it sounds like this is something that is newly joined the list of stores that I resell. Let's see what the Academy thinks. Thank you very much. It looks like the winner of this year's best newcomer and best ROI is Staples. Very interesting. I stayed away from Staples for a long time, not thinking it would be any good, but it looks like it's won a couple of awards. Let's go to the other angle and see why. Moving to the stat sheet that the Academy has provided, we can see that we've only officially sold under 100 units from Staples. I do believe that it's actually more than that, but having changed a month and a half back, how I track all my suppliers has affected this a lot, because I've resold at Staples since then. The revenue from all of that is $868.70, with a profit of $292 and an ROI of over 130%, which has been consistent with almost every single time that I've gone to Staples. So if you haven't been to Staples yet, or you've been holding off, especially as a beginner, office supplies aren't normally as gated as some other categories, and they have a very great clearance section. So if you're interested in how I've resold some of those before, you could check out one of these videos, but I would just go resell it for yourself and see how much money you can make. It's a double winner, for goodness sake. Oh my, it looks like they've done it again. We have a double winner instead of a double winner, as in 2 stores instead of 2 different superlatives for this next award. It is number 5 and number 6, and it is the best at pretending to be different, but actually being identical twins, and really profitable too. So let's see who the Academy has given this to. You probably have an idea if you've resold these stores before, but just as I suspected, it is TJ Marshalls. In other words, TJX, the company that owns TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods. Let's see why this is the case. And we might actually have to get out the computer for this one too. As a combined powerhouse, it seems like TJ Marshalls has done a decent amount of profit for me over the long term. I've sold over 870 units, the revenue from that being over $15,000, profit being about $3,400, and the return on investment just around 58%. This is combined, so let's take a look at the computer to see what the difference is between TJ Maxx and Marshalls, and the answer is there's really not that much. Since these 2 companies are owned by the same parent company, they often will get the same inventory. If we look at Marshalls, we can see we've sold 430 units, $7,600 in revenue, $1,600 of profit at a 53% ROI. TJ Maxx has actually done a little bit better and a little bit worse depending on the category, but we've sold 454 units, so very similar, made $7,400 in revenue, so very similar, but a little bit more in profit, $1,763, because our ROI is a little bit higher. Both of these stores are really great ones that I love to resell. They also sometimes will have soccer cleats. Only Marshalls though, not TJ Maxx, so that one normally takes the edge and the one that I prefer to go to for myself. Whereas TJ Maxx normally actually takes the edge for me for reselling, which is why I have a little bit more profit from there. But they essentially will carry the same stuff most of the time. So if you go to one and it's pretty profitable, chances are the other will be profitable as well around the same time, but sometimes they will cycle inventory weirdly. Not exactly sure how it works, but TJ Marshalls gets the 5th and 6th store award, and now we're gonna go on to the 7th and the overall favorite for all of the stores that I resell. Looks like we're not being fancy with the names anymore, and the 7th award goes to best overall. So let's see who the Academy, thank you very much, has chosen. Oh, just spill their coffee. That was not what I expected to do. And now it's all over the whiteboard. Please excuse the slight interruption in programming. It appears that during the cleanup effort, an unnamed cleanup worker, dude, I'm literally you, happened to kick the award winner into the coffee that was being cleaned. Therefore, this might look a little weird, but I don't think it comes as a surprise to almost anybody that the best overall goes to Academy Sports and Outdoor. The stats to back this up are telling and easy to see why, and that is because at Academy we sold over 5,200 units for revenue of over $50,000, profit of $12,000, and a return on investment of 82.98. Is that really $50,000 revenue? Is that right? Yeah. That's insane. I don't think that comes as a surprise to anybody who has watched my channel before, because the replenishables that I'm able to get from there, as well as crazy deals that they have proved to bring a lot of revenue, and the returns are very low because it is fishing stuff and people don't return fishing stuff. But if you'd watched my video on the best categories to resell, you would already understand why I love Academy so much. Thank you for coming to the first non-annual Selly Awards, and I will see you in this video and tomorrow. Bye-bye.